Hi, this short video is going to show you how you can very quickly build scorecards in Scoreboard using SpiderStrategy's web-based tool, Connect. The first thing we typically do in the Scoreboard product is log in. We log in to the initial user bookmark page. You always look up in the upper left-hand corner and choose the module in which you're going to work. In this case, we want to build scorecards. So we're going to have a scorecard for the corporate level, a sales division, a sales support scorecard, a services division, a services support scorecard, and we're going to do a P&L scorecard. You'll notice, because these are all gray, that there is no scorecard existing for this organization. We're going to build these scorecards using Excel. So the first thing we're going to do is start with how we get to a scorecard structure that the application can read. We'll take a P&L as an example because every organization has a P&L, and if an organization doesn't have a budget item for every category on the P&L, they certainly have a budget for total expenses, total sales income, or income by area. What you're looking at here is an actual export of a P&L from a QuickBooks accounting system. These numbers have been changed to protect the innocent, but it reflects exactly the way that an export from QuickBooks or practically any other accounting system looks. And you can see that a P&L is divided into key performance areas: income, expenses, total expenses, net operating income, net income. However, you'll see that that's all in one column. And these are actual numbers, not budget numbers. So the first thing we do is we create something that is easier for a computer to read and represents budget data. In this case, we have a company called Technology Inc., and they have their key performance areas on their P&L, their P&L categories, and their budget numbers. We're still not to where we can read this in a way that the application is going to understand it. Now, you recall that from the manually building scorecard video that we're going to have to tell the application different things about the scorecard. We're going to have to tell it where it fits, what organization does it attach to. In this case, it's not going to attach to Technology Inc., it's going to attach to something called the P&L scorecard. The scorecard group name is going to be called Profit and Loss Budget. Key performance areas: clear, income, expenses, other income, total. KPIs, they're all of the categories on the scorecard. The next thing we have to tell the application, if you remember from the manually building video, is when we look at monthly numbers aggregated into a quarter, do we add them, do we average them, or do we leave them because they're already aggregated? On a P&L, it's clear everything is aggregated. What kind of data is it? The data type is currency. We support 3 data types: currency, number, and percentage. All of these are clearly currency. Now, we also talked about goal and red flag, as well as other measures. Let's just quickly create a new scorecard and then delete it so that you can have a quick review of what we mean by those scoring categories. As I said, we'd be returning to this. We have 9 different ways to create a normalized score. As I mentioned in the other video, a normalized score is a way that we can create a grade point average for looking at aggregate performance. The same way in the US, we know that if you have a 4.0, you're almost perfect. If you have a 1.0, you certainly are close to failure, and a 2.0 is average. We use a 10-point scale, and each one of these scoring types allocates a score of 0 to 10 based upon target numbers. Yes, no is 0, 10. Goal only, you make the goal or you don't make the goal, 0, 10. Two color, you're going to have a score of 0, a score of 5, and a score of 10. So you have 3 thresholds. Goal red flag is a little bit unique. It's the oldest scoring method in performance management, and it is a simple method where you assign a value that causes the performance to turn red and a value that causes it to turn green. The application creates a score of 3.33, 6.66. To find out where it turns 0 and 10, the application takes the difference between the red value and the green value and adds it to both ends, or adds it to the green end, subtracts it from the red end to get 0 and 10. Every other scoring type, you assign the points at which it turns 0, 3.33, 6.67, 10. 0, 2.5, 5, 7.5, 10. When we tell the application in a spreadsheet what kind of scoring type, we need to use the exact words that are on this chart. So it's a good idea to print this chart or have these all written down when you first start working with the application. So we'll go back to our spreadsheet. First, I'm going to delete this. Always in the application, you right-click and then you choose what action, and then you execute the action. So what have we done with our P&L? We've told it the aggregation type, we've told it the data type, we've told it the scoring type based upon the 9 different scoring types. We've told it the calendar. How often do we update these measures? We update our P&L monthly. You must use a name of the calendar in the application, in Scoreboard. If you don't quite understand calendars, we have a short video on calendars that will tell you exactly how to make calendars. When we have goal only, we have to tell it whether higher is better. For revenue, higher is always better. For expenses, higher is not better. Sometimes we want to look at a more complex scoring scenario. So in this case, we really want to look at a goal red flag. The goal here is to do $250,000 a month in client services, at least, but we're really happy and turn green if we do $275,000. Red if we do less than $250,000, green if we do more than $255,000. 3.33, 6.67. So now that we have created this spreadsheet, how does the application read it? This is where we look at the application called Connect. So you will have your own URL that's been assigned to you that is some variation of your company name .spiderstrategies.com, or if you're using QuickScore, it will be your company name .qs.spiderstrategies.com. We log into Connect with our username and password. You see that nothing is in Connect at this time, so we have to create something new. In this case, we're going to create a new P&L scorecard. P&L scorecard. We're not going to update metric values. We're going to build a scorecard. So we'll go and find the spreadsheet file, open, and upload it. Once it's uploaded, it becomes the source for our scorecard. Now you'll notice that because I have these headers that the application recognizes, that it automatically matches the headers. If I had headers that the application didn't recognize, there would be a blank and you would need to drag and drop the correct header onto the spreadsheet. The next thing we have to do is tell Connect where you want to create the scorecard. I click on the organization node and it shows up, P&L scorecard. Then I say OK, mapping. We want the technology profit and loss scorecard. OK. We save it. Then we go run now. It says successful. What does that mean? Well, what it should mean is that when we go back to the application and we look at the P&L scorecard node, that the entire scorecard is there. And it is. You can see now we've completely created a P&L scorecard and we're ready to start importing data. Now let's look at a more complicated example. Let's look at a set of scorecards. Here I have an example of a set of scorecards that spans several departments within a company. I have the corporate scorecard where my key performance areas are finance, customer, the internal processes, and learning and growth. The typical balanced scorecard perspectives. I have objectives that I want to accomplish in each area. I have KPIs. I have how often I measure them, what the aggregation type is, what the data type is, and now I have more complicated scoring types. So you see a 4-color blue, that means you have 4 colors. By definition, that means you have 5 thresholds. So it's 0 at 5, 2.5 at 10, 5 at 15, 7.5 at 20, and 10 at 25. And I have multiple scorecards: sales division scorecard, sales services scorecard, services division scorecard, services support scorecard. So I've created this form for the scorecard. Now what I'm going to do is go back to Connect, and I'm going to create a new corporate division scorecard. I'm not going to update metric values. I'm going to build a scorecard. I'm going to browse, and once again, I'm going to go into my downloads folder, and I have my business scorecard import. I click OK. Then I go to my source data. As you can see, the application has automatically mapped each one of the pieces of information that Scoreboard needs to know in order to create the scorecards, because we had a header row with the right information. So now we click OK, and then we say, where are we going to send it? Well, we have a corporate scorecard. We don't have a P&L scorecard. We already have that. So I clicked on the top one. All of the scorecard blank organization units went in. Then I ask it to map. Sales support scorecard. I had the wrong name, so I had to drag and drop it. Then I click OK. I click Save, and then I click Run Now. The import run. It says successful. We go back, and now there is a scorecard for every single organization node. It's as easy as that. All you have to do is have the correct structure in your spreadsheets, the correct column headers, and we provide you with a template of column headers so that you will know exactly what you can, how you can structure your spreadsheet. Once that's done, you're ready to rock and roll. Have fun building scorecards in Scoreboard with Connect. I'll see you at the next lesson.